Welcome everyone to episode 2 of The Buzz with Momma T. That's me. Oh, I shut off everything and it's still coming through. Anyway, we're coming to you live from the studio of Untouchable Productions, housed in the same building as Little Bobby's Bar and Grill here in McIntosh, Minnesota. Um, Today, my first guest is vet, promoter, and bugler Bobby Drengler from Mankato, Minnesota. How you doing today, Bobby?
Oh, very good, very good. And what a wonderful weekend it is, a celebration of all of us here, as a bugler especially, because this was a very eventful weekend for me over the years. And I'm celebrating my 80th birthday this year. Thank you all. And
Wow.
thank you all for, yeah, I know, coming July. So yes, and hey, and thanks for inviting me in this group here. I spend a little time up north, and I enjoy it up there. I have a lot of music friends up in that part of the world, and yeah, I've
Oh, yeah?
I yeah, especially in that Bemidji area. It's
Oh, yeah.
going way
There's
yeah.
there's some over in there's a band practice going on next door if you can hear any of the music in the background
Oh,
here.
yeah.
He double booked.
I'm talking to you from Mortimer's in uptown Minneapolis right now. It's one of the clubs my son owns, which is a music club, by the way. Beautiful stage, and that's a uh, they hold bands 5, 6 nights a week here, and we have a lot of activity going on with music here in Minneapolis. He's got a few other clubs too, besides Mortimer's. He's got the Lit, which is on, by the way, Mortimer's is on Lindale and Franklin,
Okay.
and it's a music club. And right down the street on Hennepin, there's a club called the Lit. It
Okay.
used to be Liquor Lyles. If those of you in the Minneapolis area. It's a very old club, Liquor Lyles, and now it's called the Lit, and it's got 150 pinball machines in it. So, for you,
Wow.
yeah, I know for you pinball artists, that's the
That's
place
a
to be.
lot. Yeah,
But
I've,
right
I've
down,
spent some
r-
time down there. We go to Shaw's or Walebski's.
oh
Uh,
yeah, Shaw's is by the way, huge celebration here just recently at Shaw's. But yeah, no, big, yes. Yeah, and similar to in that particular area, there's where the Greenbelt Brewery is, across from the Greenbelt Brewery. There's a place called uh, oh God, where am I going right now?
I
And
don't know.
that, yeah, I know. I don't. I sometimes I just zone out on that.
Yeah, I gotta write everything down. I forget everything. I've got a terrible memory. You said your birthday's in July. What
Pardon
day?
me.
You
July
said your birthday
20,
is in July.
July 25th, and
Mine's the
I'm
17th.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean,
I'll be 50 years old.
y- we run in that same, how would you say, that same wave,
Yeah.
that July wave. It's a good wave to be on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
So,
it is.
you guys, I did a little research on Bobby T's up there and your little Bobby's bar, and boy, I tell you, you guys carry on.
Yep. We had Elvis here yesterday. After I'm done talking to you, we'll play a little clip. And the next time he's here is June 13th at 5 p.m. and July 26th at 7 p.m. I mean, we had quite a turnout last night. There's a local guy named Sean Wallen, and he's booked every month for the rest of the year. Don't let anybody tell you Elvis is dead. He's alive and well, and he plays here every month for the rest of the year.
Well, that entertainment, to just to let everybody know that, uh, this entertainment business has been really kind of picking up lately, and there's a lot of high interest, low vocabulary going around with it, and it's a good
Oh,
thing, very good thing.
oh, yeah.
Mankato is seeing the same growth pattern that you're seeing and Minneapolis is seeing. This is good, really good. And I've been
Yeah.
around it a long time, going back to the 50s and in the ballroom era, and this
Oh,
is
wow.
this is really really good to feel, really good.
It's just such a great vibe when there's places packed for the music. You know, you celebrate you have um celebrations, you have people coming in for certain bands, and it when you advertise that you have live music every weekend, you know, and people show up. I actually had a guy come in knowing the place is owned by a musician, knowing that we advertise live music every weekend, sits right next to the live music and complains that it's too loud. Like, you know where you're at, right, buddy? It's better to have five true fans sitting there listening than a whole building full of people that aren't really even into the music. So it's good
Right,
to see pick up
right.
now.
Well, it's especially good for me to see because, see, I've been through that. It started out in the ballroom era, and then it kind of went to the bar era, and then it went to the kind of the outdoor thing for a while, and then it went back into the bars, and now it's coming back strong this time around. So I like it. And it's got a good vibe to it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's a
And
very good vibe.
COVID
Even
was
some of the
so part of
ballrooms, yeah, even some of the ballrooms that are still kicking, are doing some good draws too. This is
oh
good to
yeah.
see. The
Yeah, and
outdoor
the ballroom
concert thing,
dancing even.
yeah, that outdoor concert thing nowadays is really cooking. I mean, we got Little Feat coming. We got a lot. The Vetterstone Amphitheater in Mankato is really got a lineup this year, and it's a summer full of outdoor festivities. So all music, all music.
Can you tell me, uh, you're the founding member of City Moose?
Yeah, it all started back in 1971. I had a friend of mine, Billy Dennison, who was on drums. Was discharged from the military, uh, and he's thinking about getting back into music. Billy Steiner at the time was a excellent harmonica player and songwriter. See, I was basically back then we were into original music,
Right.
and so Billy Steiner was doing a lot of original music. I was doing original music. Um, I had a 4-track Crown recorder, uh,
Wow.
and that was, I think, uh, Colonel Glover and Ray were the only other people in Minneapolis or in Minnesota that had
Uh,
another 4-track, a 30 Ips one, So I was doing a lot of recording back then at the same time. But yeah, and so we decided that we were going to put a trio together. Me, Billy Steiner, and a guy named Billy Dennison. And for you folks up north there, his father was the one who, Dennison and Johnson, the original closed-faced spinning reel. So those of
wow.
you fishermen out there on that walleye opener, that it changed the life of fishing, by the way, for you people, for made it a family affair because of, remember the old casting rods that you
Oh,
used to use? It was very difficult back then to go fishing or just have fun fishing, it was kind of like
right.
a mission. So, but yeah, so and
Even hard
his
for the
son
kids.
Billy. Yeah, right, right. So his son Billy was an excellent drummer. Played with me in a number of bands prior to that in the '50s, and geez, this is 10 years after, and he was still kicking, and he wanted to do some music. So I said, yeah, let's put a trio together. And just sure enough, Billy wanted to do. He was really into it, and he had original material. I had original material, so that was the game. Game on. We went down to California and tried to sell our stuff, and went to Chicago, tried to sell our stuff, working with RCA, and we got beat out by pure Prairie League,
Uh-huh.
and
Oh,
yeah, so that kind of yeah, took the air out of my tire after that. I said, well, I don't know, this band thing has just got me into a. But so yeah, no, we had a wonderful couple of years together in the original City Mouse. Yes.
any songs that people can still look up and find and listen to a little bit of it?
Well, there's always some songs on there for if you look up City Mouse, it goes way back. But yeah, Billy's song "Moonlight Baby" has always been a real hit with people. So I would suggest "Moonlight Baby" and stuff like that. The original songs that we did back then that we recorded at with Dale Menton at Cookhouse. In Minneapolis was kind of an interesting gig, and very enlightening as far as how to. That back then, you got to remember that was the era where they were just starting to compress, and in getting a new kind of versions of how to make it sound better. The drums, and we all of a sudden you got 13 microphones on the drum set alone, and all of a sudden, so it changed a lot, but it was fun, and it was
Those
very
13 mics on
good.
a drum. Those drum mics are expensive. I can't imagine. Those drummers, they must spend a lot of money, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, and it's a lot of work. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, a
it's a
workout.
lot of work to be, yeah, in the rhythm section. Boy, I tell you,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah. And you know what? Over the years, and now that I'm pushing that age limit, yeah, I've noticed that drummers don't last very long. Do you notice that? I think it's their
Yeah,
heartbeat that gets them going, and all of a sudden, I don't know. But, yeah, I've
maybe
lost
they just get worn
five.
out. They can't move their arms anymore. Carpal tunnel or something.
Yeah, over the years, I've lost 5 of them. I mean,
Oh
5
gee,
drummers, come on.
a
Boy, oh
good
boy.
drummer is hard to find though.
Well, that's
Especially
why
a
there's
bass.
not many
Yeah,
left.
a good bassist is hard to find too.
Right,
Uh,
right,
so
right.
you were a promoter. You were a promoter too. Um, did you? So, did I read somewhere that you recorded John Denver before he got
Well,
popular?
no, we did all of his photography work, and as far as his recording gear, no, his recording was done elsewhere. He did, do some spontaneous stuff. Michael Johnson, yes, um, and Carl Franzine, yes. Uh, but no, but all of the early visual that you see was all done with my good friend Mark Alstrom, who was my partner, who was the visual guy, and he did all of John Denver's early songbooks and his early uh, uh, promotional materials, everything.
Okay.
Until he signed with RCA in about 1972,
Oh,
1971, the end of 71. So that's when that all took place. But yeah, no, uh, we I had some very pleasant journey there with both John and Carl, especially. I'm still having. In fact, I just left Carl Franzine this afternoon. Um, he was actually, probably nobody knows this, but he was the one that actually wrote On the Road. That it was John's
Oh,
really first hit, So it was. We didn't know who we were. We didn't know what we did. Go home, said the man in the moon. Go home. So yeah, and I just left Carl about a couple hours ago up here in Minneapolis, and I told him I was going to mention his name. There, like, there you are. There you
well,
are, Carl.
I guess you answered my next question. I was going to ask you if you were still doing you were still doing promotions and promoting people. Well, you just did. So I guess that's my answer, huh?
Yeah. Actually, right now, my number one passion is I'm trying to get a hold of all of the songwriters that were sort of published over the years and document their starting out with their favorite song. And if they want to get more in depth than that, fine. But, there you just everybody has a favorite song that they wrote.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea, the yeah. And I'm doing pretty good at it so far. I started out with Neil Bond here about 8, 10 months ago, and I think we're up to about 30. We got
Wow.
about 30 artists now out of Minnesota that are in the yeah. No,
I
I'm
might
very
know a
very.
couple. I might know a couple that can be on your show.
Pardon me. Say that again.
I said I might know a couple that might be want to be on your show.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm very much into that. In fact, that whole thing is happening right now. I'm open to that big time because, in fact, I can come there too because I'm going green screening and black screening. So it's a kind of like a one-on-one shoot,
Right.
and so yeah, no, let's set that up. I'll come up and do that.
That would be fun because, well, the gal I interviewed on last week's episode, Dwa Brown, she was in a band called The Spirit Remains. Well, she still is. That's actually who's practicing right now with Little Bobby because they're going to be opening for Great Great White, I think it is, and Bina at Bina Fest. So that's gonna be exciting. But he booked the band practice for the same time as the show was.
Yeah,
Like, why did you do that? But yeah,
yeah.
they're all excited. So you're also a vet. What branch did you serve?
Say again, please.
What branch of the service were you in?
Oh, I was in the Air Force. I went in the Air Force in 1963, and I went in in the Air Force band. And so the idea here was that uh, I was going to put together a kind of a French horn. I was in the French horn section, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this Vietnam thing entered into the picture,
Mm,
and they kind of called it a conflict. And they took the first one, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10 new recruits, and it turned out that. Uh, yeah, it was kind of a interesting deal because all of a sudden my APO numbers changed and all of that, and I got shipped into Southeast Asia, and
okay.
one day, being French horn player. They were short a bugler, and I said, "Sure, I'll show up." And I started bugling in the Air Force, and then after the Air Force, kept on bugling for people who needed buglers, and there weren't very many. And that was the era of the cassette now, and the cassette thing was just starting to happen. So it was became a very it became a very interesting thing because buglers are still hard to come by, I guess. I belong to a group called Buglers International, and it's difficult. It's a life all of its own, and I still enjoy it very, very much. Although I don't have an armature anymore. That's one thing you have to have. You have to practice.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be a bugler, you practice is perfect. And boy,
Well, that's
and but I did a lot. This particular time of year is they did a lot of cemeteries all over the Minnesota. We
mhm.
didn't try to leave anything out. We just it was a good one. Yeah, I I still smile every time I think about it. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, every Memorial Day I do my little dance, Memorial Day dance.
Yep.
I enjoy it.
Yep. It was actually. Did you know that it was actually they used to call it Decoration Day?
Yes, in
Or-
fact, it wasn't until 1971 that Memorial Day actually became a legal holiday where, federal people could actually get off.
Yeah.
So and yeah, everybody got off. It was a national holiday. But prior to that, but since it was going on, it started right after the Civil War. But it really kicked in 1971.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. It was. What was it? In '66, the federal government declared Waterloo, New York, the official birthplace of Memorial Day.
Oh,
But yeah,
really?
yeah, it just wasn't.
Interesting. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's interesting. Yeah.
Do you have any things coming up within the next few weeks, or?
Well, I'm doing some recording. I do my recording. We still have a beautiful studio in Minneapolis or in Mankato that has specializes in animation and green screening, black screening, and things like that. And uh, I work with an engineer called Denny Van Gilder, and it's a very, 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 very interesting life in the studio these days because everything is so animated.
Yep.
So you know,
Oh yeah. It's crazy what we can do now. Can you imagine 50 years ago talking to someone and seeing their face?
well, it's not only that. I'm going through this. Well, no, I'll tell everybody this about AI in music, and it's a when I decided to get involved in the engineering part of it on in music, I literally asked the engineering AI that I'm talking to, this computer, that okay, I said, and now that I'm joining up with you, how fast am I going to how 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 fast am I going to have to keep up with you?
Right.
And its response to me was, Bobby, I'm going to need 10 times the power that I'm using today by the end of 2026.
Wow.
Now, it's amazing because what I'm doing with or what's being done with AI today is simply amazing. It's just, I mean, it's you can't. possibly imagine. Um, there aren't any microphones anymore. There aren't any musicians that have to show up anymore. I mean, it's just amazing what can be done today. And so, but on the other hand, the creativity is unimaginable. You have to have a certain level of consciousness all over the place in order to make it,
Oh
to
yeah,
just stay in the game, so to speak. So,
definitely.
as they say, game on, here we go.
Like the guy that fought the machine, right?
Oh boy, I tell you.
Was that John Henry? Got to beat the machine. Got to be good at it.
Oh, the next time we get together, I'll do it from the lit, and then you'll see what these machines actually. For all the nightclubs that I've ever been in all of my life, this in this pinball bar, it's absolutely the loudest club I've ever been in. I mean,
I
when you got 150 pinball machines going, it's just unbelievable. I mean, it's just
not
how do they
imagine the
do it?
racket that makes because they
I
play
mean,
their
how
own
do
music
they?
and sounds and everything too. It's not just the ding 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 in the ball.
Oh,
They've
I
got a
know.
Gilligan's Island one here, and that thing goes off all the time.
Mhm. Well, you're there,
Uh-huh. Yeah, and sometimes it scares the crap out of me too because our front door has this bell on it. So we when the door opens, you hear this chiming bell, right? The pinball machine makes the same darn sound. So it goes off randomly. You turn around. Did somebody just come in? you know? Oh,
So
excuse me.
yeah, your club up there. I'm very interested, and I was going to talk to Bobby T. I'm doing a campaign right now for the homeless here for HUD,
Oh
uh,
yeah?
housing and urban development. Da 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 da. And I was listening to that song he wrote for Lonnie in this car. I was parked
yeah.
out in and I really like it. I said, so when you get a free moment, ask him if I can use that as in my presentation for HUD.
Oh my goodness. I will be sure to ask little Bobby if you can use that song. I'll get you guys connected. Maybe he'll be
Good.
on your show too.
Oh,
Um,
good, good, yeah, good,
well, I
good, good.
our time is about up here. Any last thoughts you have?
Well, the music is you. I mean, that's what we're all about, and it's I've been working with it all my life, and I've enjoyed it all my life, and the best part about it is creating something new, and we all know there's nothing like new. So, boy, I tell you, some new music. If you have something, or if you have a songwriter uh, that would like to hook up and get his, you know, we're doing a songwriters documentary thing right now with Neil Bond with the Minnesota Music History Channel, and so that'll be right on the top of our list. And so, I'd like to get as many songwriters in Minnesota as I can in this thing.
Definitely. Well, thanks so much for being on my show, Bobby. I really appreciated you being here. Thanks for
Hey, thank you for inviting me. And listen, catch me on Rebound. I'd like to do this again. I
all
enjoyed it.
right. All right. Well, we had a great time with you. And our next guest is Ari Schwartz. He is a vet and he does a whole lot for the vets in the area. And we are being brought to you today by Little Bobby's Bar and Grill. Yep, Women of the Blues Festival. That's the end of this month, and June 1st We've got so many great acts. You can't miss this. It's just awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's the second annual. We did this last year. We had a really good turnout, but we've got we're going to have an unveiling of the Little Bobby's Walk of Fame, and that's going to be out on the wall. All of our artists that have been here and played national, um, from the state, local, their stars are going up on the side of the building, and we're going to have a unveiling on that. I believe at oh, I'm not even sure. Can't even remember what time that one is. I think it's at 1. Nope, nope, nope. That one's at 4. Sorry. Um, but that goes. We've got Lori Morvan on Friday night on the 31st, and then we've got Dwan Brown, who's opening for Amanda Fish. And then Amanda Fish will, after Amanda Fish plays, it'll be Shannon Kerfman, Kid Rock's guitarist. And the event will be hosted by Lady J. So be sure and try and make it up here for that, or over here, wherever you are. And then we've got the Elvis tribute show. Like I said earlier, we've got Elvis coming once a month for the rest of the year. The next time he's going to be here is June 13th at 5 p.m. And then in July, he'll be here on the 26th at 7 p.m. And there's the poster there. And we're back. Well, hi, Ari. How are you doing today?
And yourself?
Oh, I'm just having an amazing day. It's beautiful out.
Oh, it's amazing.
I just wanted to thank you for um, being on the show today. Can you tell people a little bit about your programs that you're doing for the vets in the area?
Sure. Most of you probably don't know who I am, but my name's Ari Schwartz. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, honorably discharged, and I host events for veterans at no cost to them through volunteers and through donations, support from the community. We do things like scuba dive certification, blacksmithing knife classes, fishing, hunting, anything along those lines that we can think of that, an individual might enjoy spending their time doing. We raise funds. We, get donations through meals. Little Bobby's has been amazing and helped us out. We had a group of vets come in, provided us an amazing steak dinner and some drinks, and so super thankful for your guys' support over there. And it's great because it's a way to say thank you to the heroes, the individuals that have sacrificed and for our country and our rights and citizens as of the United States of America.
Right. Oh yeah, that was a great crew you had there too, Ari. Though that was a fun day. I mean, this is my favorite pen. So this was made by Pens, Pipes, and Things. It says a small gift made for you to say thank you for all you do for veterans. And I got to show you this. You see that? That is just the coolest pen anybody's ever given me. Little AR on the side there. Isn't that neat?
So yeah, and like I said, we do it all through volunteers and support from the community. The trips typically cost the nonprofit around $300 per veteran to sponsor them, bring them in, provide them lodging, provide them meals, and materials. Like if we're doing a knife class, or the guides, if we're doing fishing or hunting, we will have somebody sitting with them in the stand, or sitting with them on the ice, or in the boat. A lot of the boats, most of the boats are personally owned boats. The guys say, hey, I'm available, I can take a vet out, and so I'll line them up with the owner of the boat, and you go sit on the water with a veteran for the day, and listen to their stories, and really, really great stuff. It really, it saves lives.
Yep, that's really awesome because I know a lot of our vets suffer from PTSD and a lot of other things that and like you think back to way people treated everybody coming back from Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
and there's our vets, there's homeless vets. I mean, this country is not doing enough to take care of our veterans, in my
No,
opinion.
well, it's a tough one. I agree. Obviously, but it's my community, and I love the community.
Yeah,
It's a struggle, especially when you see things coming in, and being handed to people who have come to the country outside of our legal guidelines, and they're handed housing, they're handed checks to cover their medical expenses, they're handed stuff to get education, and you're like, wait a minute, I know guys that honorably served this country who aren't getting that.
right.
So it's definitely a struggle, and it's nothing against, I know our country was founded by immigrants,
Yeah,
and I'm a believer in, if you're coming here and you're following the law, I am happy to have you here, and I'm happy for you to be here. But I think that there should definitely be more focus on America before others.
right. We need to take care of our own first. Well,
Uh,
why don't we change the subject here a little
yes.
bit? Um, can you tell me there's a ceremony when you cross the equator? Can you tell me a little about that?
Um, yes. Before a sailor crosses the equator, they're considered they call them a polywog.
Okay,
And then after you've crossed it, you're considered a shellback.
okay.
And basically, there's just a whole bunch of um, good, fun stuff that you're put through. Um, I don't know how to properly. Uh,
Kind of like a
it's
hazing, or
an initial. Yeah. Okay. Yes, it's not the word I wanted to use, just because people look so down upon hazing, but it's a ceremony where there's a lot of fun stuff like that, where they're
like a
it's all
roast.
meant in good. Yeah, you're when you're the polywog, and the shellbacks that are already have already crossed, we're separated, and they set up obstacle courses, and they set up things like the cooks, actually, when I went across, we had a probably 20-30 foot trench on board the ship that they filled with green spaghetti noodles, and you had to crawl through it, and so stuff like that just good fun.
Good, clean, well, dirty. That sounds like it's spaghetti, but
Um, so yeah, and it's just all meant to bring you into that group and build that tighter community, and build that connection, with your brothers and sisters.
right. That sounds like a blast. I had read somewhere about that, and it sounds like a good time.
It is. It's definitely one of those. It's one of those moments that once you've been blessed to live through it, you'll remember it forever.
What did you do when you were in the Navy?
I my job title was bosun's mate, which is a lot of grunt work. My everyday focus was keeping the ship looking pretty. So I did a lot of repainting, chipping rust, just making sure she looked as pretty as she should. I had other certifications. I ran chalk and chain on the helicopters. I was master helm certified, so I would run the helm when we were doing underway refuelings. when we were pulling in and out of the pier. We did the search and seizure on merchant ships because I was over in the Gulf for 2 6-month deployments. So, we would make sure that none of the illegal contraband was being transported in or out of the country over there. Um, uh, so very, small boat operations, whenever we had to launch the small boats, I was, part of that program. And so real wide variety of,
Sounds
job titles and duties.
you're kind of a jack of all trades, or a
So,
sailor of all trades.
uh-huh.
So, do you have any other stories besides the equator? You gotta have some. You gotta have some good.
Well, one of the things that I would say, when you're out at sea and there's no, land within range, um, there's a green flash when the sun sets, which is
Okay.
pretty awesome to witness and see. And I don't know, why or how it is the way it is. It's just Mother Nature and one of the things she does. But when there's no land in sight anywhere and it's a nice clear, calm sea, you get this really awesome bright green light just as the sun goes down. So that's pretty cool.
I've never heard that before. That does sound cool. So what is the name of the group you're with that is doing all this for the veterans? By the way.
I host my events through We Got Your Six Outdoor Adventures, Minnesota and Wisconsin group. So we host, events here in Minnesota, over in Wisconsin. We've also flown some guys down to Texas to do a helicopter hog hunt.
Wow.
So we're not just, we try to keep all the funds and stuff raised, supporting locally. I work with most of my groups, right through, in this local area. I do my spear fishing out of Erskine, Minnesota with the Pine to Prairie chapter of Dark House Angling and Spearing. And then my knife classes with Stoney's Custom Design out of Boston here. And then, as you know, I just got back from Grand Marais. I took a bunch of veterans over to Grand Marais for Memorial Day weekend, and we did some trail riding in Jeeps. Got real muddy. We found some great mud with all this rain, so we got real dirty, and we had to wench a few Jeeps out of the trenches, but
Oh, that sounds like a blast. So, what do you have planned coming up? Do you have any big events coming up?
um right now I'm actually going to be working with looking at a resort over by Deer River, and I'm looking at putting together 2 stays at the resort, one for just a group of veterans where we would all be just the veterans there hanging out, going out fishing every day, and then a second one with the resort where I'm hoping to set up for a family where either the mom or the dad is the veteran, and they can bring their kids and go as a family and hang out for a week at this resort because they have an absolutely amazing inflatable water park that they put out on the lake.
Oh,
It's
wow.
incredible. The owner of the resort is an Air Force veteran,
Okay.
and it's Arcadia Lodge, and unbelievable place for families to go and stay. What they offer is just every time I see the water park on the lake, it's like, oh, really? That's here in Minnesota?
Oh, to be young again. I don't think I could handle something like that. I'm gonna be 50 here in July, so I try not to do a whole lot of physical things because I might break.
I
Get
hear
a
you.
little.
I'm 49 in July.
Oh, yeah. July what?
4th.
That is so funny. Oh yeah, born on the 4th of July. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was destiny. It was
Uh-huh.
you serving your country and serving your vets and that's you were born to do it.
Yeah, I did. It all came together.
It's funny because my last guest also was born in July. My first guest,
Yeah.
yeah, he was born in July too. Well, said his birthday was coming up in July. I'm like, what? You got to. I hear a bunch of kids running around back there.
Yes, like I said, I just got home, so my boys are running around enjoying the weather out here, and just loving life.
Oh, it is such a beautiful day too. I mean,
Yes.
I could we couldn't ask for a better day than today. I mean, we're dress even. Oh my goodness. There's a couple cats that keep popping up, driving me nuts. So I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to ask you oh yeah. Can you tell everybody how you got into the military? Like why you decided to be in the military in the first place?
There's a good story. Um, After I graduated from high school, I had no clue what I was doing with myself, like most, 18-year-old guys. Uh, and, I was doing odd jobs here and there. And I was sitting down to coffee with a farmer that I was working for, cleaning out a barn. And, we were reading through the paper, and there was an ad that, was actually looking for firefighters. And I thought to myself, I can be a firefighter, you know. And when I called the number, it was the U.S. Naval Recruiting Office. And, like 2 months later, because I'm this, kind of just, jump the gun and run with it kind of attitude, I was signed up and being shipped off to boot camp.
That's hilarious. That's sounds like a little bait and switch there.
Well, you would think so in some senses, but honest to God, when you're on ship, fires are a daily occurrence. And if not managed correctly, a fire will sink a ship very quickly.
Oh, I bet.
So
Well,
everyone on board is trained as a firefighter, and everyone is on call 24/7. For when something comes up. And like I said, they were pretty much a daily occurrence. There was a fire on board.
wow. Anybody hurt?
I'm sorry.
Anybody ever get hurt from the fires? Like
Not while
you
I
guys
was
got them
on
out right?
board. We were pretty good. Yeah, we were pretty well, trained, and so we never really had any major ones while I was on board. And thankfully, we didn't have anyone that, every now and then from one of them, you'd have some minor burns or something, but we never had anything, major where somebody needed major medical attention. So that was good.
Well, then you guys were firefighters.
Yes.
You
And just like you see, when you see a firefighter in their full gear, with their helmets and their oxygen masks and the full heavy duty fire suits, that we'd have to, rush, get that stuff on, and then rush to whatever part of the ship, needed our attention.
yeah, a friend of mine, he passed here a couple years ago. He was in the Navy too, and he I think was the original one that told me about the equator, crossing the
Okay.
equator, but he never said anything about all the firefighters.
Yep. Like,
That's interesting. I never heard that before.
yep. It's
Um,
one of those things that everyone on board has to be trained, because, you need to be able to respond quickly, and you need to be able to, get it put out, because a fire on board ship can end a ship very quickly.
what starts all these fires? If there's a fire every day, what's start?
With down in the engine rooms, there's a lot of stuff with all the oils and the greases, and you're running like the ship that I was on. We had 4 jet engines
Oh, jeez.
that actually, were used to propel the ship. And when you've got all those engines running, there's a lot of heat, there's a lot of flammable liquids, and so most of them are down in that area. In the kitchen, in the galley, you get fires that light up.
Oh,
They're in the middle of cooking or doing this, and you get a heavy roll, and your hot oil spills over and on the burner and on the floor, and
I,
um, so yeah, it's real easy, real fast.
so um, what was it? Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, the therapeutic benefits of all of the spear fishing and can you tell me a little bit about the therapeutic benefits?
Absolutely. A lot of us, a lot of veterans will come back and they'll suffer from, you know, post-traumatic stress, high anxiety, hyper vigilant, hyper alert, you know, from the, you know, situations they've been in, the trainings they've been put through. And you have this really tight knit community, like I was talking about earlier with the whole crossing the equator ceremony. You know, you've got these individuals, and I mean, you live in super tight quarters with these people. You know, our quarters, like, there's typically a set of 3 bunks on each side, and there was about 2 foot space between them. And so you had 6 people that lived in this, you know, length of a short bed. It's not even a long bed. You know, so you had, and we all, you know, the 6 of us, and then right next door to that, there was another 6. So you build this really strong, tight knit, you know, community, where you live with these people and you see them, you know, every waking minute of your, you know, existence. And
Well,
obviously in civilian life, that's a whole lot different. Um, and you come back and, you know, you start to go, well, you know, that's gone. Where is that? And it's, you know, different, and you don't have these people. And when you get in, when we start doing these events, we bring the veterans back together, you know, with people who are like-minded, you know, people who may have experienced something similar or even the same exact things. So it's easier for them to open up and to talk about these things and to joke and to just kind of relax and let loose. And even if it's just for that, you know, weekend, they forget about those daily stresses and those um, triggers that get, you know, them, you know, into a high anxiety situation. And so, yeah, it, like I said, it definitely does save lives. One of the guys that went on the trip with me this weekend actually is a Vietnam vet. Um, Really cool, you know, old guy. Some of the best stories, you know, that I can sit and listen to. You know, 5 hour drive over to Grand Marais with him and a 5 hour drive back. And I actually know his granddaughter really well as well. And she was starting to worry about him. He was seeming kind of depressed and down and, you know, not real happy. And, you know, we got back to my house because I drove him from my place over to Grand Marais. And, you know, my wife come out and she asked him, she goes, well, how'd it go? Did you have fun? And he goes, if he turned around and headed back right now, I'd be in the truck with him. uh, you know, so, and he was all excited and he's happy and he's, you know, he's upbeat and he's feeling good about things again, just from, you know, spending a week or spending 2 days driving the trails, you know, throwing mud in a Jeep with some other vets.
that's awesome. That is so awesome. And the service dogs.
Yes.
Um, yeah, talk about the service dogs. You guys have some cool dogs.
They are, and
I mean,
as you know, I've got Trooper, my service dog. He's a German Shorthair Pointer. Um, and service dogs can be any breed. They can be a mutt. You know, my previous one was actually a pound rescue out of Hibbing. So you know, it's just a matter of if the dog has the right temperament and whatnot. But they can do things like mine is for my post traumatic stress. He does anger management. He does wake you up from nightmare or wakes me up from nightmares. Um, uh, and a whole list of other things. He'll do blocking because I have a extra large personal space when there's strangers, people I don't know, and they're up close,
yeah.
like standing in line to get into the movies or standing in line to get into an event. People tend to really get close together.
Or
Um,
at a grocery store, how we met.
Mine. And so that gives me high anxiety. That really stresses me out. He'll do what we call blocking. So he'll position himself between me and other people so that they can't get as close to me. And so he triggers on all this stuff and knows it just naturally, you know, and and
Wow.
and he does all these things you know, for me. And I know there's a million other service dogs out there for that veterans have that do similar things and more for them as well. And I have, you know, a bunch of programs that I'm aware of that I help steer veterans towards if they need a service dog, and cost free. You know, My service dog was donated to me through a group called Invisible Wounds Projects.
Okay.
I think they're out of Blaine, Minnesota, but they got him for me when he was a puppy. And I did some basics trainings with him, and then we went to a group out of Detroit Lakes called Patriot Assistance Dogs,
Okay.
and they helped me with my AKC Good Canine Citizen and my AKC public access testing. And they helped with airport protocol for a service dog. So, I mean, yeah, I have contacts in that realm to help veterans if they're thinking, hey, a service dog could help me. Um, you know, uh, they can reach out to me through you guys at Little Bobby's. And if you've got a veteran who's, looking to participate, or anybody who's interested in, maybe supporting, us in what we do, um, they can definitely reach out to me through you. And I'm happy that, you could share my contact information. Cause if I can't share this and help other people, then it's wasted.
Right.
So I love to get more and new people, new veterans who aren't aware of what's available, involved. And I had two other vets that just moved to the area over in Erskine that came on my trip this weekend as well.
Okay.
They're new to the area, didn't know anybody, and I met them through a lady at church, and I said, hey, are you guys busy this weekend? Come have some fun, ride in a Jeep with us. And so they were able to come over and they were the same thing. They're like, are you sure this is all covered? I said, yes, there's a really generous community, and they care about your service and they want to say thank you. And so, we've got you covered. Come hang out in the hotel, have some meals, and let's throw some mud.
We got your six. Do you
Yes.
do anything with Don't Tread on Me, D-Tom?
Um,
That
the one out of Bagley.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Is-
I need to do more. He actually helped out. I had a veteran here locally who was struggling real bad, had lost his home, lost his job. He was living in his car this winter. And
Wow.
I reached out to them because at that time I had the foster kiddos that my wife and I had taken on. And
Oh,
so I couldn't bring him here. And so I had reached out to them and said, hey, I've got this vet, he's in a bad place. Can you guys help out? And they actually stepped up. They got him an apartment. They got him some food. I think you guys might have been involved in helping him. And unfortunately, I don't
yeah,
think it went as well as we had all hoped in the end.
right. But
But they did. They stepped up amazingly, and they did so much for him. And I'm
they
so
really
super thankful for them and what they were able to do. But I
they've
think
got
he's still struggling.
yeah. So, that's too bad. I mean, um, yeah, we've only got a couple minutes left. Is there a message you like to send out to all the vets out there?
Obviously, if you're, struggling and you're, not sure if there's anybody out there, reach out. It's amazing the support and the people that are actually there for you and are willing to be there for you. It doesn't matter what time of day, what time of night. Um, you know, before you go and do something that everyone will regret, find a buddy. I'm always available. My phone is always on. If you reach out to me, grab a cup of coffee, grab a beer, get to know each other, and my phone's on 24/7. I've gone out many times at 1 a.m. I tap my wife and say, hey, I got a call. So and so needs me. I don't know when I'll be back. I'm gonna go find him and make sure he makes it through the night. So just
That's
call a
really
buddy.
that's
That's
really
the
awesome.
biggest thing
It's
I
awesome
can do is
that
you
supports you
know
in that too.
it's
A lot
just
of people
it's
forget.
the biggest thing I can say is find that buddy, find that somebody that if you're in that place who you can trust to call, and we'll be there. And like I said, I'm here for any and all of them. So if you're watching this and you know somebody, even, hey, uh, reach out on their behalf. you know um and put us in touch. We'll sit around the fire and listen to some music. I've got I got two great groups. If you're into music, I've been given a guitar, and I've been, get free guitar lessons. So, if you think music is going to be therapeutic for you, I can help you get connected with an instrument. And I still am horrible at playing a guitar. It's terrible. Nobody would ever want to hear it, but I'm putting in an effort, and it's fun.
All right. Well, it looks like that's our time, folks. Thank you for your service, Ari, and for everything you do for veterans. Um, I want to thank all our viewers. Thanks for all your support out there. If you liked the show last week or this week, share, like, comment, and see you next week.